Okay, so here we are with the Studebaker, and someone was asking me, about it having suicide doors. Well, it's got, I think you call these opera doors, meaning you've got two doors that open in opposite directions, which opens up the whole middle of the car. And I think the reason, and I could be wrong about this, but I think the reason they call it opera doors is because if a lady's going out to the opera, she can walk right up here with a big fluffy dress and grab this thing and swing her little dress up in there and get up in there, big puffy dress, I should say, instead of a little dress. But yeah, I think that's what that's all about. What we're concerned about here is this right here. See that bolt right there? And there's one, should be one right back here. One of the pads for my knees. This thing used to slide. Looks like. Or maybe it was meant to slide. I don't even see anything back here. I can see a bolt back here also, but I don't. Oh, maybe it's just got two bolts in it. That would be interesting. Let's go down underneath it. Ooh, the joint. Yeah, this is the part where all the old man parts gets a good workout. Okay. Alright, so that right there is the bolt. I don't see another bolt. That is one solid floor right there. That is way plenty solid for what I'm going to do. So it looks like I just shoot that 9/16 bolt out of there. Do the one on the other side, that whole seat might just jump out of there. That would be sweet, wouldn't it? Let me go get me a long neck 9/16 and my little gun and see if that works. Probably wouldn't hurt to have some squirt juice to lubricate that up with too. This thing's mighty clean underneath. By clean, I mean there's not much here. And anytime you got something with a straight floor, that's gonna make what I'm about to do a lot easier. Because if I had a hump right here, well, a lot of these new cars, they'll have a hump in the middle, but they're so small that they'll have a hump back here, and your seat kind of fits down in a little valley. This is a straight floor with the shifter right in the middle. Those two bucket seats should sit between those. There's about this much room underneath that, and that little leg thing hangs down about an inch. That little slider thing I put on there, so I got lots of space to put between that and the floor. It's just a matter of whether or not that's the right height for what I'm going to be doing here. It looks like these seat belts. Oh, I see. Okay, so there is a back part of the seat that's, well, I thought, and I thought the seat belt might be bolted back here, but it may not be. It might not be. I don't feel any bolt up underneath it. So that might just be just the two bolts. Okay, let's go get some wrenching material, some wrenches and stuff, and maybe I'll get something soft to put my knees on while I'm at it. Oh, the joy! Alrighty then. Squirt a little bit of this here slippery juice up under here. Oh yeah. And then we'll get us a wrench and that. We'll get this here down on the bottom. Oh yeah. Okay, that's that was easy. Thank you, Mike, for making it so easy for me, buddy. I appreciate you. I mentioned the other day that working on this car gives me a chance to talk to Mike a little bit. Oh, Mike. Thanks for making this so easy for me, buddy. I appreciate that. You're a good man. Few like you still left around in the world, buddy. I still remember you, though. I ain't forgotten. Bless your heart. So, when that bolt comes out, you reckon I'll be able to lift this end of the seat? If I do, if I can, then all I gotta do is, it feels like it's attached back here. No, it's not. Look at that. Look at that. Can you see that? One bolt. One bolt is enough in this case. All I gotta do is take all this stuff over there and we did the same thing over there. I don't even have to move y'all. I'll just take y'all and sit here. I'll go over there. Set my wrench. My wrenches over there. Take my little slippery juice. Slippery squirt. We'll go around on that side. Oh, the joy. By the way, I was talking to Vic Nell this morning. Y'all remember Vic Nell? Nell Maynard? He has made some YouTube videos before, but he's probably don't make a lot of them now, but he watches YouTube every day. In fact, I kind of like his way of thinking. He don't watch news, which would be a good idea for a lot of y'all, because news is always filtered through news organizations. If you watch news, it's going to get the approval of an editor. I tell y'all, I used to write for a newspaper. Well, I did. I wrote for a newspaper, and I wrote commentary for a radio station too. And if you have an editor, then you got somebody that's going to read your work, and they're going to give you the go on it, or they're going to not give you the go. They're either going to say yes, we will let you say this, or they're going to say no, you can't say this. And you know, generally they know their business. I mean, they you know, I got to admit, when I was young, I was if left to my own devices, I would have said a lot of things I probably shouldn't have said. But you know, that's the thing about being young, is sometimes when you're real young, you're not wise. Being wise will teach you sometimes not to say everything you almost said, because then if you don't say it, then you don't wish you hadn't said it later on. Anyway, Vic Nell watches YouTube. That's where he gets his news. Because you know, if you watch news, you're not watching something that's put out by the editorial board or an editorial network approved stuff. You watch stuff that people like me and you like. Well, like what you're watching right now. This is just me. I'm the only one that have to approve this. I made it and I put it up, and this is me talking, and there ain't no editor that's had to say that it's okay for me to say what I'm saying, because I ain't got no editor. It's one of the things I like a lot. I never did. I tell you something about me, and you probably already figured this out. I don't like nobody telling me what I can and can't do, what I can and can't say. And so that's one reason why I don't really much care about the whole idea of having an editor, although I've had some good ones in the past. But what was I going? Oh, anyway, I was just talking about Vic Nell. He doesn't watch news. He watches YouTube. He gets his news from there. We was talking about what's going on in the world, and you know, there's things that you can see. You can in today's world, and this wasn't true when I was a kid. When I was a kid, we had 3 news, channels. We had ABCs, and that was it. Everything you got came from one of those news channels, and that was fine. I felt like we got pretty good news in those days, although a lot of stuff that was said during the Vietnam War, looking back, I think, I don't know. But anyway, we lived through that. Nowadays, people get ballistic about news, and people get lied to about. There's, and I'm not going to call any names here, but there's some news agencies that will tell you an entirely different story than other news agencies. You got the same thing that happened, you got two different news organizations that's going to approve it, and they have their own, often, I don't want to say this always, but they often have their own political agenda one way or another. If you watch the news on YouTube, you don't get that. And something else has just come up, and I wasn't even aware of this, although I should have been, because Josh probably tried to make me aware of it. But I thought TikTok was some silly thing where, you know, every time I turned it on, there'd be a bunch of teenage girls dancing, and I thought, well, that ain't no good. I mean, I don't need that. But I figured out that they can also be people in a war zone that are experiencing war in real time, and they take their phone and they pick it up. I saw a guy, I went over there this morning, I went to TikTok, because I read somewhere that the president or somebody from the presidential administration had met with TikTok bloggers, and I thought, now wait a minute, this has never happened in my lifetime. So you're telling me that he's meeting with people who provide live news and giving them a briefing as though they were a news station, and it turns out, I guess that's what they were doing. So I first went over there, and of course I saw all the juggling bears and the, you know, the dancing teenagers and stuff. So I put in Ukraine, and I think I might have put in war. Well, I got all these videos. First one that came up was a man standing in the street, and there was a burned out building behind him, and he said, my wife died right here, and I hope it was quick, and I hope she didn't suffer. She was blown up, and I hope she's in heaven right now, and I hope she had a good life. I tried to give her a good life. That about broke my heart. And that was coming right out of somebody's camera. That wasn't approved by a news bureau or anything. It was just somebody standing there with a camera filming that. And I heard this other young lady. She was in Russia, and she was talking about all the things that the Russian soldiers are doing, and she's saying, we need to stop this. We need to go in the street. We need to do something about this. We need to stand against this. Even if they arrest us and put us in jail, we can't stand and be silent while these things are going on. Now, maybe you get that from a news organization, and if you do, it's probably, you know, some news board or somebody's giving it the approval. But man, when you get it fresh out of somebody's lips like that, that's powerful. That's powerful stuff. So anyway, I started out talking about Bick Nell. Bick Nell is we had a long conversation when I visited him one time. He was talking about watching YouTube and getting his news from YouTube, and he said he does the same thing. I mentioned TikTok. He don't even know how to get on TikTok. Most people don't. Most people my age. Well, I didn't. Josh has probably showed me TikTok, and I've probably watched it a few times. It's a little bit. What's the word when you get hooked on something? You start watching it. It's hard. You know, time passes, and like, whoa! I just spent half a day watching. Not really half a day. You know what I mean? It's been a long time because things happen so quick. You just watch one thing after another, and before you know it, a bunch of time's passed. But you know, to have just imagine, y'all ain't none of y'all probably old enough to remember World War II, and some of y'all's parents might have been there. But just imagine to be able to go back to, say, 1943 and pick a place in the world and be there and see it happening. Just imagine. Well, we're living through that right now. We are living through what could turn out to be the beginning of World War III, and we're seeing what's happening, and we're witnessing it. No one's ever done that on this planet. No one's ever been able to see that kind of stuff in that kind of detail from the other side of the world. We can sit in the peacefulness of our living room chair with a cup of coffee and watch people suffering and dying and fighting and being brave and heroic and being mean-spirited and cowardice. There is no hidden place anymore. All of that can, with the technology we have, be in front of somebody. Let me tell y'all something. If y'all think hateful thoughts about people and you want to talk about it, you can talk about it, and people on the other side of the world can say, that is a mean-spirited, hateful person right there, and they're going to know about it. It's not private.
Y'all need to think about that before you put stuff. I think, and I probably shouldn't get wound up on this, but I will. We have division in this country, and it's not because any of us are bad people. It's because we are fed things that divide us, and they say, if you think this, you're that. Which, you know, they put a political label on you. Or if you're from here, then you're going to be like that, or you're going to be like that. If your skin's this color, you're going to be this way. And anytime you put a label on anybody, you're dehumanizing them, which is basically the first step in killing somebody. Because when you have a war, they don't just say, okay, go kill all those people on that side of the line. They say, those people on that side of the line are bad. They eat dogs, and they strangle puppies, and they just tell you a bunch of awful stuff about the people on the other side of the line, so that you stop thinking of them as a human being, because you wouldn't kill a human being, but you would kill a dog strangler or a puppy strangler. You see what I'm saying? Well, that's what happens. We need to guard against that. We need to not do that. If you're thinking hateful thoughts about somebody, stop it. It's wrong. That ain't what Jesus said to do. Jesus said to love people. If you're feeding on hate, and some of you are, because I see it, not you here on YouTube, but I see people out there every morning. You get up and you feed on hate, you throw it out, you pull it back in, you circulate it around, you just fill up your mind with hate, which fills up your body with hate, which fills up the world with hate. Stop it. Just stop it. So how did I get off on that? I don't know. But let's take his seat out. We'll put them bucket seats in here and see how they look. I'm glad this is strong. Well, I can swing on it like that. Oh, I got my tag right here. I gotta put that on. I got a banjo in the back seat. I got a Studebaker emblem right here. Look at that. So let's rascal this seat out of here. Might be better to get it out the front door than the back. Might be more space. These flashlights over here. That's a nice little seat. Let's put that out here somewhere and sit on it. Maybe put it in the garage. There's a little bench seat out in the garage. It's heavy, fella, way too. I'm trying not to knock y'all over now. I hope you don't have to put your crash helmet on. I can't guarantee you won't. You don't know if you're going to hang out with me. You got to have the insurance paid up. Just saying. When I was a young fella, that seat would have leapt out of there all by itself in my old age. I have to get Mr. Gravity to help me with stuff like this. Total joy. Need one of them roller dolly things. Put this on. He's scratching up Mike's doors here. I haven't thought about whether this seat would fit in that. Might be something to think about. Could happen.